Conference 8. So this is where innovators get together and they come to promote their businesses.
Shout out to the noobs in the building. Shout out to the noobs.
This is Mesh. This is where a lot of different entrepreneurs, how you doing, are getting together and they are promoting their businesses and their brands and their artwork. How you doing? So, and this is where yesterday we all got together and Pinky from Slutty Vegan and a lot of other celebrities were here at the church, and they were basically doing a business thing, and also different entrepreneurs got to get up and promote their brand. So it's called them. They were able to promote their brands, you know, startup businesses or even established businesses. It really didn't matter. So that's basically what's going on today. And I came yesterday and had an awesome time. There's a young lady with a business called 828 that we're going to, I'm going to be documenting her journey and, you know, just, she's like 21 years old and she's a chef. She makes salads and stuff like that. But her biggest struggle has been her self-esteem because she says she was bullied a lot growing up or whatever. And so Pinky Red told her to do a 30-day challenge, and if she was gonna pay for the or Pinky, not Pinky Red, but Pinky, I'm sorry, from Slutty Vegan said she would, you know, help her with it. And so I'm going to be following her journey. So that's basically what's going on today. So these are some of the businesses that are here. You know, it doesn't start till 3, so everybody's just kind of like getting ready, you know, for what is to come. That's what's going on today. For all of you who are wondering what I'm doing. So these are some of the vendors that are here. You know. So, you know, I'm looking forward to meeting people. Oh, here's another one. Let me put it here. The vendor hasn't gotten here yet, but that's her information. So, like I was telling, let me step outside so you can hear me. Like I was telling a lot of, like I was saying during my last, well, hold on, let me get outside. I want to make sure you can hear me. Because everybody just kind of like starting to come or whatever. So, like I was saying during the Bible study that I had, you know, God was giving a lot of people instructions on businesses and ideas and concepts, new books, new ventures. He was giving you instructions. He was telling you to build something, or maybe he was telling you it's time for you to leave, you know, your home state and go to another state, or maybe he's telling you it's time for you to, you know, apply for that school or that job. Whatever instructions God gave during the first part of 2024, right? He is now in the month of June and moving forward to the second and third quarter of 2024, because for those who were obedient to the instructions, he's sending in the destiny helpers. He's sending in the resources. He's sending, he's making those connections. He's honoring your faith. Any steps of faith that you took in the first half of 2024, he's honoring that. And some of you, in order to lay down the foundations for the building of whatever God gave you, you had to go through some turmoil. You had to go through some wars. You had to go through some things. Hi, how you doing? It's church. It's Claude. This is New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in Atlanta. How you doing, Erwin? He gave y'all instructions. He basically gave you the blueprint for whatever it is he wanted you to start working on, and you had to do the foundations. You had to do the research. You had to research the market. You had to look for the job. You had to start looking for different schools and going and visiting. You had to see how many, you had to do the business plan, and you had to go and figure out the market, like all that stuff. God was giving you foundations for the instruction for what it is that he wants you to build. Now we're in the last couple of days of June, and we're looking at the next 2 quarters of 2024. In these next 2 quarters of 2024, for all of you who made it past all the trials and tribulations and the darts of the enemy, and you continue to do the things that God told you to do, you continue to build the foundation so that you could build the assignment, so you could continue the assignment. God is going to honor that with the resources and the connections and things. You remember I was telling you in 1 Kings chapter 7, when King Hiram came in, he came in with skills that King Solomon didn't have. He had to do the small integral designs, and there were certain things that had to have the creative skill of someone who knew how to do it, and King Solomon didn't know how to do it, but King Hiram did. So King Hiram came in chapter 7, which I call July. So what I'm saying is there's something special about July, because you made it through the first 6 months of 2024, July, August, September, October, November, December, as you continue to move forward in faith, as you continue to spend that one-on time with God, you're going to the park and you're listening to him, you're going out in nature, you're going to the beach, you're going to Bible study, you're praying, you're in your prayer closet, you're asking God for guidance, for confirmation, for steps before you make them. As you do that, he is already saying it, and I'm saying this because I know what he told me on Monday during the Bible study, that he's sending in the resource, he's sending in the connections, but you got to do the work too. You can't just sit at home and think everything gonna come to you. You got to go apply for the job. You got to go apply for the school. You got to go to the events. You got to do your part still. You still got to walk. But as you walk in faith, what you need is going to show up. Everything you need is going to show up. Everything. You're not going to lack anything in this season for what you need to build whatever God told you to build. Solomon didn't want for nothing. In fact, not only are you going to be blessed in the assignment, but because of your obedience, God's going to bless your home. He blessed Solomon's home. He allowed Solomon to build his castle or his palace or his home with the same materials, the gold and the expensive stuff that he used to build the temple. So that means that not only is God going to bless you, where it comes to, the assignment, whatever that assignment is, but he's also going to bless your home. He's going to bless, so that your income is good, so your house is good. If you're someone that God said, listen, I need you to start looking for a new place to live, then you in the first 6 months, or I want you to buy your own home. In the first 6 months, you've been working on your credit. You've been doing stuff. You've been looking. You've been putting in the work, right? So now you're starting to actually go out, and I'm feeling like it's going to be in the month of July, because it's something about the month of July. I've heard so many people talk about July 1st. So something about July, there's something about the people that are going to come into your life in July that's going to help you do whatever it is that God told you to do, or told you to work on, or build the foundations for in the first 6 months. Before this year ends, whatever it is, it's because it took him 7 years, but he completed it, right? It was like a time span. So some of you, these dreams are things that you're working on. You started working on this years ago. You started working on this in 2020. You started working on this in 2018. You started working on this in your 20s. You started working on this in your 30s. And maybe life came in, challenges came in, the enemy came in, and you had to let it go. Maybe you got married, got pregnant, and things just slowed down. You couldn't continue to do the things that you wanted to do. So you had to put it on hold. But then in 2024, God told you to pick it back up. Whatever your situation is, because God knows your situation. He knows about the book that you started writing and then you put it up on the shelf because you had to take care of home or a disabled child or elderly parent or something. And you had to put your dreams, whatever it is. It may not have been a book. It might have been a movie. Maybe it wasn't a movie. Maybe it was a business idea. Maybe it was going back to school. Whatever it was, whatever. In 2024, somewhere in the last 6 months, God has been telling you to pick it back up. And if you were obedient to that, then he's going to provide whatever it is, the scholarships, if it's school, you're going to get that interview. If it's jobs, you're going to find just the right, everything you need in that other city. It's going to come easily. Everything is going to line up. Everything was what King Solomon just lined up. He didn't have to work hard. He didn't have to labor because his father had already laid down all the hard work. King David struggled. King David fought wars. King David did stuff. He had to do stuff. King David had to fight for it because, King David had done some stuff that he wasn't supposed to do. So his journey was hard. But when he had Solomon, God already said he was going to bless Solomon with favor. So now Solomon's here. He running the kingdom with ease. He got wisdom because he understood to ask God for wisdom. He wasn't going out for greed. He wasn't going out to see how he could undercut, how he could hurt, how he could manipulate somebody. He really wanted to understand, how do I take care of your people? How do I judge your people? How do I help your people? And because of that, God blessed him. God blessed him not only with the wisdom to do what God had told him to do, but then he also blessed him with riches and finances and allowed him to build his own home with the same material. God is about to bless you. I don't care what the enemy said. I don't care what your cousin said, or somebody else who doesn't have the faith that you have to listen to the word of God and step out in faith. Everybody's not going to understand. Everybody, how you doing, Keisha? I praise your name. I praise God and thank you for your testimony, Keisha, because I'm only trying to be obedient, because I know God is talking to me too. Understand? I'm right here at an event where I can pitch my ideas, where I can pitch my business concepts. God has given me stuff, and I done went through it. I'm not telling y'all nothing I ain't went through. God knows the first 6 months of 2024, I've been battling everything you can think of. Dealing with my daughter with lupus and my father dying and going through the trials and tribulations with the job and then my events and being put in jail. Honey, I done went through it. But I know what God told me. And he has given me confirmation. He's blessings falling from out of nowhere. Literally, I'm walking around and I'm just picking up pennies off the ground, just out of nowhere. God said that's how the blessings are about to start coming for his children. You're going to be walking and somewhere a blessing, going to be right in the bush you didn't even expect, but it's going to be just what you need. He's going to be right on time. And it's going to be one blessing after another coming out. And it may not come from where you think it's going to come from. It may come from unexpected sources. God may put it on somebody's heart to bless you, and that person don't even know why. They don't even know why they're blessing you. They just feel like they got to do that. So you trust God in this season, and you step out. If you haven't stepped out in faith, you still got time, But for those of you who were obedient through the first 6 months of the year, and you had to overcome a lot to do that, you had to overcome a lot to build those foundations, get ready, because your blessing is already, and you're going to see it in July. Peace and love, y'all. Let me get in here.